One of the most frustrating things about being a new Etsy seller is getting your first sale or even getting the shop momentum going so that you can start having a consistent and successful shop. And honestly, the percentages are pretty low of people who actually keep at it and keep their stores running if they haven't received a sale within their first month. I see so many people give up, and I want to make this video today. If you are somebody that is looking for ways to get sales in your shop, if you're looking for ways to get more traffic to your store, or you just want to do anything to get your first sale, this video is for you. First, hi, I'm Mac, and I make videos talking about e-commerce, passive income, and different ways to make money online, and in specific Etsy, because I've been an Etsy seller for the last 5 years now. Sounds really crazy. I feel like I'm getting old, but anyway, I know a lot, and I know from experience things that have worked for me. And so I'm just going to share based on what has worked for me and the data that I've seen from these different things. So I want to just jump right into it because your time is valuable. So, and everything will also be timestamped below. So the first one is a little harsh, and that's why I'm starting with it. And that is that you need to be doing your marketing research and asking yourself if what you're selling has a demand or if people are actually going to buy it. So a lot of newer sellers just jump right into selling without doing any prior research. And sometimes this can be good, but most of the time, and especially in e-commerce and selling online, is that you need to do market research and sell things that actually have a demand. You can't just put random products up and expect people to find it because they have to be looking for it. Now, if you have a personal brand or a way of getting people to you, then sure, you can kind of sell random stuff because like they're coming there for you. But if you're somebody that is just starting an Etsy shop or starting a Shopify store even or anywhere, and you haven't done market research, that's probably why you're not getting sales. If you take a look at your listings and look at other things that are selling in your niche, do they have similarities? Are you using similar types of designs? Are you using similar color palettes? What do your mock-ups look like in comparison to them? And I think a hard truth that I had to learn when I first got started with print on demand was, okay, just because I like this does not mean that somebody's gonna buy it. You need to really sell things that people already like and already have a proven track record of selling. And that is a really hard truth with print on demand because, as I mentioned, it's really fun getting started, but it's something that if you want to gain experience and sales fast and like quickly grow a shop, go for market research, make what's in demand, and then later on down the line, you can, bring more of your own creativity into that. Just an example, let's say you're selling nurse sweatshirts, you want to sell to professions, and you just randomly start creating these like nurse sweatshirts with really random designs. You're not getting sales because nobody's buying that. You need to go and search up nurse sweatshirts and see what's already selling and take note of those listings. So maybe take a really fun quote that you like from one of them that's a bestseller, and then take a similar design tactic of another bestseller and merge those together. That's a perfect way to do that and to still stay in demand for the product that you're selling. Next one is for people that have their shop pretty established. Let's say you've done your market research and you feel really good about your shop, but you're just not really seeing sales yet. Something that you can do is purchase your own item. Now, there's some controversy about this, but I've done this a million times and haven't gotten in trouble for it. Knock on wood. Be smart and buy your items with a different email or account. You can't purchase your own item if you're logged in, or even like do it on a private browser on your phone and purchase your item. What this does is when you get your first sale or a purchase on your store, Etsy starts to give that I think it's around like a 48-hour boost, because if someone bought it, that means that other people might be interested in it. So it can really help your shop out and get some momentum going. Now, if you're not comfortable buying it yourself, totally understand. You can ask a close friend or family member to purchase it and then even reimburse them the money. This is also going to get you a sample as well if you are selling print on demand products. So you can use that for furthering your content or even marketing in your products or just for your listing photos. So that's a slept on tip. I know some people on YouTube say not to do that, but I've always done it. And again, this is my channel and my rules, and that's what I've done. So if you want to experiment with that, again, be smart. Don't just do it from a private browser, use a different email, even a name, just be a little sneaky, okay? Not that I'm telling you to lie, but maybe I am. I don't know. I'm not perfect. Anyway, moving on, let's talk about lowering your prices. So this is again for more established sellers that, really do feel like everything in their shop is aligned and they're just like, why am I not getting sales? Maybe you're getting views, maybe you're getting favorites, but nobody's buying. This has to do with maybe one or two things. The first thing is if you're getting those views, you're getting favorites, maybe even add to carts, but no one's purchasing, it's most likely either your shipping cost or your price. They're probably too high. Now, if you have a free shipping on your shop or a free shipping guarantee, that might mean that your price is just too high, so that person abandoned their order. It also could mean that something about the listing sketched them out. Maybe your photos don't accurately show how good your product is, or maybe there's something in your description that just seems a little weird, or maybe your shop isn't fully trustworthy and branded. Like, how does your shop look if you go and click on it? We're all consumers at the end of the day. Would you buy from yourself? Like if you go to your Etsy shop and you're like, this looks like shit, you're not going to purchase from it. So you want people to be trusting of your store to purchase from you. And Etsy's already giving you that credibility of like on a platform that people already start to trust you, but it just gives that extra trust of when your store looks put together, you have a banner, you have a logo, and if you're new and you have no sales, go ahead and just put a shop banner announcement that says, hi, welcome to my shop. I'm brand new on Etsy, or just something welcoming of letting people know you're new, and that's maybe why you don't have sales yet, Now, as I was mentioning on like pricing, a strategy that I also really like to do, and then I've had a few sellers try out that are a beta for my print-on-demand program, which is coming soon, is the absolute lowest price possible, so where you're not losing out on money and you might be making like a few cents profit. Let me talk about this because I don't think this is the best strategy, but it's definitely a way to get sales fast and get the momentum in your shop going. And that is literally to lower your price extremely low. And then once you get a sale, start to raise your price gradually. So obviously, if you're selling in a popular niche or something that's a little bit more competitive or saturated, if your prices are higher than other people who can get the product to someone, for cheaper that's similar, they're going to buy from them. So by lowering your price and maybe eating a little bit of no profit for a while can help your Etsy shop grow and get momentum and boost you in the algorithm. And then you can start to raise your prices. So I actually did this in my very first Etsy shop that I scaled really quickly. I had this sweatshirt and I knew like I did the market research, the design was killer. My mock-ups were so good. I kept getting favorites and I was like, what's going on? Like, why is nobody buying this? But there was another shop that was selling something similar, but my design was better. And I even had better mock-up photos. I was like, what is it? Because like my shipping is there, but they were selling it for like $5 cheaper than what my price was. And I remember saying to myself, if I lower my price though, then I'm only going to make like $1 profit after Etsy fees. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it and I'm going to see what happens. So I changed the price to like as low as I could, or I think I actually made a sale so that it made it that price. And I literally got like 2 sales within the next 5 days, which doesn't seem like a lot now that I'm like a big seller. But at the time I was like, oh my gosh, that worked. And then as I started getting more and more orders consistently for that sweatshirt, I kept raising the price by $1. And then eventually it was like more expensive, but I was still getting consistent sales. So it is something that I've explored with. I still do that, especially with digital products, because like they're just a download, so people don't like to pay a lot for them. So even if you're just breaking even, you want to make sure you're not like in the negative so that you're paying Etsy fees that you don't, you know what I mean? And like credit card stuff. But it is something that you can experiment with if you are open to it. Next, let's talk about SEO, because search engine optimization, it seems like a huge thing, but it's actually not as complicated once you understand it. If you're not using a Chrome extension for SEO, I'm sending help your way. You need a Chrome extension. You need to be looking up what people are typing in, what search terms are working for best-selling listings. Like, you need to be doing your SEO research. I use Everbee, which I've talked a lot about on my channel, and I will have it linked below for you. But I literally will search for terms and see how they're ranking. And I'll also look at best-selling listings that are bringing in the most monthly revenue and getting consistent sales. And I'll take and pick keywords from those listing titles. Now, I don't copy other people's titles because that's not going to help you by copying and pasting their SEO. You're like boosting their listing, but by using similar keywords that people are searching for. So it's a really great way to change up your listings and maybe change your SEO if you're not getting views. Like if you have these listings that you feel good about, but your SEO makes no sense to what your product is, you do want to just change it up a little bit. A few things that I see people mess up in SEO is one of the most common ones is actually being too specific. So for example, like if you're selling a pink sweatshirt with a pink butterfly on it, literally somebody will put like pink sweatshirt with pink butterfly with blue dots. Like, okay, yeah, that is what it is, but most people are just going to type for like butterfly sweatshirt, right? Your first few keywords, like your long tail keyword in your title, is the most important because that's the one that Etsy immediately sees and is like, okay, this is what that item is, and then followed by those, short-term keywords that you're adding along with your title. So it's important to really prioritize those first few words in your title. And that's why doing that research is important. So where I'm going with this is if you're somebody that, you are doing your SEO research and you don't seem to have much luck with it, or maybe you're just confused by it, go ahead and do what's called duplicating your listing. So you can duplicate an Etsy listing, and then you're basically creating the same listing, you're making a copy of it, and then you can change up the SEO in that listing and keep everything else the same. So keep the photo the same, or if you want, you can change the photos around like for your first listing photo. But this is a great way to test out products and what keywords might work better for that product, because the smallest little tweaks sometimes can make the biggest difference. I also want to mention another mistake that I see with SEO is when I first got started on Etsy, all the videos and courses that I was listening to were telling me to make sure that you're using every single character, but I actually disagree with that now that I've been selling for a long time. Focus less on using every single character in your title. Like when I mean that, I mean by like the length of your title. You don't have to use every single character as long as you're putting in like keywords that make sense. It's okay if the title's a little bit shorter, because the more keywords that you add, the actual truth is like you could be deterring people if you're not using relevant keywords, if you're just trying to fill the space. So if it's relevant and you can fit it all in the characters, absolutely. But if you're finding yourself like scramming for random words to add to your title, just skip it and let your title be a little bit shorter, and then utilize those other keywords in your tags in your listings, because that has just worked for me. Another thing that you can experiment too on your listings to just make them more engaging is videos. So I'm sure you've been on Etsy and you scroll and you see that like videos pop up of people's product if you hover over it. Now, I know this is nothing new, but it's something that a lot of people don't do, especially with print-on-demand products. So if you really want to succeed, take your best-selling product or the product that you worked the hardest on with research, you know is good, maybe it has favorites, maybe it has 1 or 2 sales. Even if it doesn't, get a sample of that product and take videos of it. Put it on your Etsy listing. If it's a sweatshirt, just do like a cute, like aesthetic scroll, like camera pan over it. Just add a video, because I really think Etsy boosts listings with videos, and it also just makes for a more trustworthy, again, shopping experience for that customer that is scrolling over your product, right? If you don't want to order a sample, there's actually a website called placeit.net. If you watch my channel, I'm sure you've seen me talk about them before, but you can actually get pre-made mock-up videos for a lot of different types of print-on-demand products. I specifically like the ones they have for mugs. There's a few t-shirt ones on there and sweatshirts as well, and even hoodies, but they have a ton of different things. So I would recommend checking that out, because what you can do is just upload, your design on there. It's a mock-up generator, but it creates a video. And then you can either reformat the video in Canva or just use it as it is, and then upload that directly to your Etsy listing so that, again, when someone scrolls through, there's a video. Now, the very last strategy that I want to talk about is ads, Etsy ads. Now, I don't talk too much about these on my channel, and I'm going to start very soon because I've had a new realization about Etsy ads in the past 6 months that I'm really excited to talk about. So like this video if you made it this far and you want to see that. I also am doing a collab with an amazing Etsy seller that has so much knowledge on Etsy ads, so that is coming to the channel very soon. Etsy ads, it costs money, right? I mean, anytime we're advertising, it's gonna cost us money. And I've always been so pro free marketing strategy. But Etsy ads are great because you can run low budget ads on your store to test products out. Now, again, yes, this does cost money, but at the end of the day, so does having a successful business. So if you have the money to test out some listings with ads, I would recommend doing it. With that being said, I'm not telling you to grab every single listing on your Etsy shop and just like run ads on it. You'll waste money. But what I do recommend doing is doing the highest budget a day that you're comfortable with and choosing the listings that you know are optimized. So using all the things I talked about. Did you do the research on the SEO, the market research? Do your mockups look good? Do your keywords relevant in your tags and titles? Is your listing good to go? Then you want to push an ad on it, especially if you've gotten sales on a specific item or favorites on an item that shows there's a demand. So those would be the ones that you would want to run to, bring momentum to using ads.
I wanted to add this in, excuse my voice, I'm a little sick, but when it comes to Etsy ads, it's actually pay per click. So just because your budget is set at, let's say, $200 a day, does not mean that you're going to be spending $200 a day. You might, but you also might not, because it depends on how many people click on your listing. So by having your $200 budget a day, you might only spend $40 a day, or maybe even $3 a day, depending on if people are clicking your listing. But let's say you do spend $200 a day and that was what your budget was, you'll be getting a lot of traction to your stores that could potentially really benefit your Etsy shop. Now, also what I want to say with that too is by setting a higher budget, you're letting Etsy know like, hey, I'm willing to play big here. I'm willing to spend my money to get people to my store because I'm ready to sell this listing. So they do give a push, in my experience, to the people that are willing to set higher budgets versus people who are doing like $1 to $2 a day. So just a little bit of insight there. Like I said, there's another video coming out, but I wanted to add this in.
Now, some people will tell you to just run ads on every single listing and then what hits is good and get rid of what doesn't hit. That strategy I think works better for like something like if you're drop shipping or doing like Shopify. I don't feel that strategy works best. I think with Etsy, it's all about what's selling on the platform already. So I would personally do the listings that you know are optimized. Don't just pick random ones, and then make sure that you're doing a budget that you're comfortable with, but just really think about adding that to a strategy that you use when you're trying to scale your shop, because it can really help and it can get, again, that momentum going. I've been talking about shop momentum a lot because it's all you really need. With Etsy and having multiple stores and also helping people, it's just the momentum of you getting started. It's like, I make the reference of like going to the gym a lot, but it's like once you start at something, it becomes easier to remain consistent with it. And with Etsy, like once you start getting orders, it doesn't only just motivate you and make you more excited to sell, but it also tells Etsy that people want your products, so they start to push you above shops that don't have any sales. But I just want to say, like, coming from someone that has sold online for so long and is also in the social media space, don't give up so soon. As I stated in the beginning of this video, it's like a very low percentage of people who actually do get their first sale on Etsy, and most of the time that's just because people give up. I've never heard of somebody that has tried to get an Etsy sale that actually really, really wants it to work that hasn't gotten a sale. I just haven't. But I've seen the people that just give up and they don't actually try. They just list 2 products. They don't do mock-up photos. They don't do a description. They don't even do price research. And then they're just like, oh, I don't know why I didn't get a sale. No wonder you didn't get a sale, because there's people that you're competing with when you sell in a marketplace. As long as you stay consistent at it, you will start to see that momentum going. But try out some of these tweaks. Let me know what you thought. I would love to hear your thoughts about this video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you found anything helpful, let me know by leaving a comment in the comment section down below. And please make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.